My wife wants all of this on this little cutting board. We were at Hobby Lobby the other day and my wife showed me they have these little cutting boards. This is acacia and it is about 16 inches by 9 inches and it's actually cheap. I got this for, well, it's originally $9 and I think it was like 30 or 40% off. So I think I got this thing for less than $7. So my wife wanted me to carve something on it. I told her with the mistake of just whatever you want on there. And so she wants like half of the dictionary carved in there in Magnolia font. It's going to be a bit of a challenge. So one thing about this, guys, we're going to show you a completely different way to lay out when you have a ton of wording on there. And as impatient as I am, I really got to take my time on this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to time lapse me laying this out and I'm going to do a voiceover, but I'm going to let you know exactly how long this takes to lay out. Because like I said, this is a patience game for something like this. Also, real quick, you can find everything we used at the website, makeawoodsign.com. And if you dig the shirt, check out Chosen Threads on Facebook and use the code WOODSIGN for 15% off. Let's go. Dad and I spent about 10 or 15 minutes figuring out exactly how we wanted to lay this sign out. And I didn't count that towards the time of the actual layout. So what we decided is that the top line, which is dog hair, we wanted capitals on there. So we did 1.5 inch D and 1.5 inch H. Everything else is going to be 1 inch all throughout the sign. And we want a little bit more space between the second line of wording and the top line. That way it looks more like a title line. You know, that's kind of the theme of the whole sign. Now what I needed to do is I put even spacing between the top of the board and the top of the top line and the bottom board and the bottom of the bottom line. I hope that makes sense. And then I laid out one letter for each line of wording I need, and then I made sure that there was going to be a 1/2 inch space between each line of lettering. Getting all your lines on the board before you lay anything out is critical. That way you can actually look at the lines themselves and say like, oh, these don't look even or whatever. Make sure everything's good to go before you put any letters on here. Now, the reason I did this top line is so I know how much space I have on my biggest line, because I had to put tape around the edge because it's going to be all natural. I didn't want any spray on there. I've tried to do big signs with a ton of lettering, laying all the letters out and then spraying it all at one time. It does not work, especially with small letters like this, because the spray can move the letters. Then if you go to adjust it, my fat fingers will hit another line. It's a mess. So laying out the letters and spraying it one line at a time, my gosh, that saves so much time. It saves so much hassle. It is time consuming, definitely, but anytime you have something like this, it's going to take some time. So doing them one line at a time really is going to help you out when you have a situation like this. When you're doing inset letters like I'm doing here, you can really put your layout letters close together to where they're almost touching and it'll still look good. A lot of people ask about spacing between letters and all that stuff. And to be honest, there's no like hard and fast rule. It depends on what you're carving. You just want it to look even all the way down. When it was all said and done, this entire layout process took me 26 minutes. That was a lot. Altogether, it took me about 26 minutes to do this. And believe it or not, I actually was at a show where I was just under an overhang and I had to do something a lot like this with the wind blowing. It was a pain. So if you have the opportunity to do this in a building, in the shop where you're not dealing with those extra elements, I highly recommend it. Now, I could do this with a carving liner, but that's a single flute bit and it might be a bit much, and also because I've never carved acacia. I'm not sure how this is going to carve. So I'm going to go with a profile bit at 1/8 of an inch deep. That way I can get my line and I can always go back deeper and be really careful about those letters hitting one another. Let's go. So we always preach, and I'm sure you guys have heard us say this before, to start shallow, especially in a grainy board or a board that you've never maybe carved before. Like this. This is acacia, never done it before. However, I might have went a little bit too shallow to where I had to hit both sides of the line to get the carving. And that's going to mess up your lines just a little bit. It'll make it look a little bit more crooked, not crooked, but a little bit shakier.
So I definitely should have started out a touch deeper. Also, another tip for you, if you look at my fingernails, they're all black, and I'm recording this voiceover 2 days later and my fingertips are still black. So if you're gonna do this, wear some rubber gloves, save your hands. It definitely helps. Take a page out of my dad's book on that one. Something I noticed that I was doing that I don't remember ever noticing before is if you look at my right hand there, it's on the bench. And because I'm having to get so close to the edge of the board, I'm actually using my hands on the bench as kind of a wedge. So I'm not putting all the pressure on the hand that's on the board. I'm actually holding some of the weight with the hand that's off of the board, and I'm using the bottom of my hand as like a little wedge to support the extra weight of the base plate that's hanging off. When you have your lettering going so close to the edge like this, it can be really hard to keep the same depth, because once you get real close to the edge, then the router kind of wants to tip. So you can use your hand on the bench as almost like a little wedge right there to support that extra weight, and that will help to keep your carving constant and not allow the depth of the router bit to change if the router tips. And I know most of you guys know this already, but you can find everything we're using on our website, makeawoodsign.com. And this is our newest font, the Magnolia font. And we wanted to make something that kind of had a script look to it, but that we could actually lay out in individual letters. And it looks really nice. This is the type of font that my wife has been hounding me to make. And we've done quite a few things with it, and it looks really nice. Now that I have the initial carving done, I'm dropping the profile bit down to 3/16 of an inch deep and going over everything again. And I actually did the same thing again. I dropped it to 1/4 of an inch deep after this one, and I went around everything again. And what that does is, number one, it gives you more depth, but it really did help to kind of straighten up my lines so there weren't as many bobbles. It didn't have as near a shaky look to it. So dropping the router bit, even though it is, kind of repeating the same steps, my gosh, makes a huge difference in the overall look of your finished product. Once it was all ready to spray, I taped off everything that I didn't want to get overspray on again, and I sprayed it with our black primer. And I sprayed it from several different angles to make sure that everything in there was black and that I didn't get a whole lot of puddling. Now, to sand this thing off, I didn't take into account that it already had a finish on it, so it was kind of a pain. If you're going to do this, you really want to put a new sanding disc or sanding belt on so it doesn't gum up as much like mine did, and I didn't do that. But having the disc cleaner as I'm sanding makes a huge difference. If you guys don't have a sanding belt cleaner, you really should get one. They're like $10 and they can save you hundreds in sanding discs and sanding belts. Then I threw a few coats of Rust-Oleum Clear, which is what we use on all of our interior signs, and it looks really nice. My wife loves it. I gotta say, this acacia wasn't the easiest thing in the world to work with, but it sure looks beautiful. It is a really, really nice looking board, and for $7, I mean, why not give it a shot?
So there it is, you guys. Now, this was not the easiest thing to carve, and I think I made a mistake going 1/8 of an inch at the first pass, because it was real hard for me to try to keep the line straight. Once I went to 3/16, then it was a little bit easier to straighten up some of these lines, and this wood almost felt choppy, almost felt like the grain was running like up and down, which is possible it was. But again, this is a $7 board, so I think it looks pretty good. It could definitely look better. Altogether, this thing took me almost 2 hours. So one thing about the layout is when you have something like this, a stencil is the way to go, especially if you're doing multiple ones. And we've talked about maybe making stencils specifically for this type of sign, this size, so you can carve multiple signs on these little things here. So if that's something you guys think we ought to do, leave a comment, shoot us an email, and we'll think about that. We'll see if we can do that. I think it turned out good. My wife is gonna love it. And don't forget, guys, you can find everything we use here on the website, makeawoodsign.com. And also, don't forget about the shirts. If you dig the shirt, Chosen Threads, use code WOODSIGN to save 15%. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next one. Bye.